welcome back to
Whose idea
Babble
was it to
On.
watch this show?
I don't know. Some nebulous person that we all know somehow suggested it to us, and it was not me. It was somebody
nebulous,
else.
like
Completely.
Avatar-esque, like someone who.
It is
Just saying.
10:25 in the morning on a Sunday when we just rolled our clocks forward. We got up bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. We're going to watch Babble On 5 today. It's going to be so fun. Let's kick off a nice, relaxing Sunday with an episode of my favorite show. Yeah.
I mean,
Look,
I guess they get to save the Pakara,
Anyway,
which is good.
what were you saying, Jenny?
It's not all for naught.
I'm saying we are Babble On. We are the podcast / reaction crew that is watching and breaking down episodes of Babble On 5. And we just watched the upbeat, peppy, happy episode, Confessions and Lamentations.
Downright
my name
perky.
is Jenny.
Just like
Downright
Ivanova.
perky. Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
My name is Jenny, and I'm a huge fan of this show, and I've watched it through multiple times. And it somehow still made me cry.
My name is Jenn. I'm a screenwriter and a showrunner. I watched the show back in the day, and I am rewatching it now.
I'm Gus. I'm an actor. I'm watching this for the first time. I accidentally shushed an S in there, and I decided to commit to the bit.
Sure.
I'm Ali, and I have permanent beef with JMS.
The Babble On podcast was our last best hope for a deep dive. A self-contained discussion, 4 hosts strong, located in the neutral territory of the Zocalo. A place of commentary and analysis for 2 veterans and 2 newcomers. A shining beacon of fandom, all alone in the streaming void. It was the dawn of the streaming age, the year the great theories came upon us all. This is the story of Babble On. The year is 2026. The place, wherever you get your podcasts.
That JMS was the person who wrote this episode,
Yep.
and it was directed by Kevin G. Drenman. No,
I have-
Kremen.
I have beef with him as well. Kremens.
You have beef with him as
Kremen?
well? Kremens?
Kremen?
Yeah.
Count your days. Wait, that sounds like a threat. I just meant till a confrontation.
I bet he's dead, too. Every time we say something out of pocket like this, it turns out the person's dead.
I actually don't know. I
find
realized I didn't look him up ahead of time.
I can find
He's
out. I'm right
directed
here.
thus far one previous episode. He
I
directed
hope
a
not.
Spider in the
I
Web.
hope he's alive and well and happy.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yay!
alive?
Oh Jesus, he
Yay.
directed. He was a second unit director on Star Trek Motion Picture.
Okay.
That's a beautiful
Very
shot.
cool. I will just mention this because otherwise I will forget and
Yeah.
people will be in the comments all about it. Jim Norton, the voice of the Markab doctor, Dr. Lazarin. Did you reckon he's been on the show before?
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought so. His voice sounded really familiar. Who was
that
he?
Eldrick?
No,
Elric?
he was the ombuds.
Oh, it was the ombudsman.
Yeah, he was the ombuds.
Ombuds Wellington.
All right, I
He
can't
was on
apparently
Bud
remember a
Wellington.
single plot point on
It
the
was
show.
the judge.
He was the judge in
Remember the
Grail
guy
in your
who
favorite episode, Grail.
Extorted the guy in front of the judge, and the
Oh,
judge was
and
like,
he was
sure,
the-
it's too bad we can't prove this guy did extortion.
And he was the judge. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he was good.
Yes, yeah, he was. So, and he has an amazing voice. I don't remember
does.
his voice
An incredible
standing out
voice.
so much in that episode, but as a Markab.
Right.
The ombudsman
Okay.
didn't get a lot of lines.
All right, and
I
I'm
think we
gonna
were also very distracted by the extortion bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yes.
also just say yes. I'm gonna say that. Okay, so the choice of not having nostrils, which is interesting for a
Yeah.
species that was dying from an airborne disease. Let's just I don't know how they breathe in. I'm sure they have
Yeah.
spiracles or something
Gills.
spiracles or gills or something. But that poor child in
Yeah.
that prosthetic,
Oh my
you could
God.
hear
Yeah.
her just be like,
Yes.
I can't breathe. And having to lick her lips the whole time because she was like, please tell me she was only in prosthetics for 25 minutes. Of course, she sat through 7 hours. So no, they shot all of her shit on one day, probably. But
Probably, yeah.
I just felt
Yeah.
so bad. She was like, Delenn, can you set up the speech, please? Because I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Just was like,
Hey, hurry this speech up, girl.
it's not going to
I
be
did-
hard for her to pass out.
I did notice
Yeah.
that every Markab always had their mouth open.
Yeah, they did.
And I went,
Yeah.
well, that makes sense.
I
The
know.
actors
Yes.
can't breathe.
I know.
Because they have no nostrils. Yeah. Yeah. They talk like it's a very dark episode. Obviously, they all die, but they did talk about having like a funeral for all the Markab costumes because, as you noted, like the Markab were in the last episode. The Markab have been mentioned
Many
over
times,
and over
yeah.
again. They've been in the background. They've been like in council meetings. At one point, Dr. Steve was drinking juice and referenced that it was Markab. Like they've been a part of the show.
Oh, yeah,
And
with
now-
his dad.
Yep, he was drinking a Markab juice with his dad.
There's a Wheel of Time reference I want to make, but it's a late book spoiler, so I won't.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
So thoughts on this up? Just general thoughts before we get into the meat of the
I'm
episode.
very sad.
It feels, and we've talked about this already, but it feels definitely like a reflection on the AIDS crisis to me.
Yeah.
Like with the
And the Black
immorality.
Plague, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
just in terms of like recent shit that had gone on,
At the time that the show was happening, like he does say in the JMS, like I didn't say this was about AIDS. I think that was to deflect from people being like, you're calling us all callous people who don't care. It's like,
Good.
it's just a show. Like
but he
whatever.
He should.
Yeah.
And I'm looking because it's funny because I don't actually. Yeah, he talked to people at the CDC like as well while he was doing this, and so I'll just give a quick background on hantavirus. So this is 2 years after the hantavirus outbreak in the Four Corners, and so the hantavirus was a virus that originated in Asia that they didn't in the Hanta Valley, and then they had not seen it in this country, and it also had not behaved in the same way, and it is airborne. But it is transmitted. What they didn't know at the beginning was whether or not it was transmitted from human to human. But it is transmitted airborne, and it's transmitted actually off. It comes from the vector is a flea. The flea gets on mostly mice, mostly deer mice, Paramiscus maniculatus, and then the poop from the mice carries it. So if you sweep up mouse poop, it gets in the air and you can breathe it in. So there was a big outbreak in the Four Corners region in the summer of 1993. And then they thought it was contained to this region. And it was like it had been a Native American ceremony. So there was like dancing and kicking up dust. And so it was a really big deal. And a lot of people died very quickly. And they didn't know much about it, but they thought it was contained here. And then the first case outside was in Mammoth Lakes, and it was a friend of mine, and it works very quickly, and it incubates for like 6 weeks, and then with no symptoms whatsoever. And then when it hits like that. So I saw her on Saturday night. We went dancing. Tuesday night, she said, "Hey, I'm not going to come." We always danced on Tuesdays and Saturdays. We went country dancing. And on Tuesday night, she called, and she was like, I feel like I got a cold. I'm not going to come tonight because I don't want to give you guys a cold. She stayed home Tuesday night. And then by Thursday, she was so sick. We thought it was advanced pneumonia, and she was medvaced out by helicopter to Reno, which was the closest hospital to where we were. And by Friday at noon, she was dead.
Jesus.
Oh my God,
it destroys all of the blood, like all the vessels in your lungs, just like all the vessels just explode and they fill up with fluid. And it's and it's really, and then at the time we still didn't know how it was transmitted exactly, or if it could be transmitted person to person. So CDC came in and quarantined us all and took blood tests of everybody who worked with her and lived with her. They trapped mice at her field site. They trapped mice at the place she was living then. She had lived in my room earlier in the summer. They trapped mice from our area. Turns out the mice in my bedroom were the mice that probably gave it to her. And so like we were all quarantined and tested and like had to wait to find out before we could leave. I mean, we actually weren't quarantined for that long because they were starting at that point to figure out that they were quite sure it couldn't be transmissible between people, but we weren't really sure in the beginning. And it was really crazy. And so just like, so the uncertainty of this, this was definitely influenced by that. The uncertainty that like, it's a new thing. We don't know what it is. It acts really quickly. It like shuts down your whole body immediately. Like I was like, oh, this sounds familiar. I feel like this was, and so in hantavirus, I mean, like there was another case later that summer, a couple more later that summer. And then, there have been continue to be cases over the years. So you know, but not a ton. And they also, you know, they can recognize it faster because when with Jean, they didn't identify it as hantavirus until after she died because it was so fast. I mean, or they might have had an inkling, but it was just too late. It was too late. Yeah. So it's a really, really fast, crazy thing that they didn't know about either. So I was like, oh, yeah, because they were like, and CDC was brought in because they were like, is this going to be some massive epidemic? Yeah. And then the movie Outbreak came out like 2 years later, which was kind of based on that as well.
So sorry, Jen. That's awful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I remember sitting and watching Outbreak and like, I think it was like sort of my first anxiety. Like I was watching Outbreak in the theater and all of a sudden I was like, heaving and sobbing and unable to breathe, and I was like, "Oh, apparently,
it's trauma.
Apparently, I'm not over this. I'm not past this."
I don't know if you ever
you can,
like. I mean,
yes, kind of true.
They're just things that stay.
Yeah. And it was, you know, I mean, like it was also like this is the same thing of like it wasn't even like in the beginning of COVID when they were like if you're very young or very old, like you know. Jean was 29. She ran like 4 miles every day. She was like in the prime of health. She was one of the healthiest people I knew. Like, so there was like, that's what was also weird was that it was like targeting people like in their prime health. And, you know, yeah.
Yeah. You just don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the hantavirus. And I was like, what feels like it was comments on a lot of things. The whole AIDS thing. Nobody was like hantavirus is like out to get people for being morally wrong. Right. So that was like definitely, you know, I know
that definitely element.
The JMS says like I'm not suggesting that was what I'm suggesting here, but it is. Yeah, people were saying that at the time in the AIDS epidemic. That was a huge part of it.
Yeah. That's the moment that made me cry. Actually, was when nobody wanted to go in and help, and then Delenn, because I remember like I guess having lived through the 90s, my mom's best friend or one of her best friends had a son with AIDS, and he couldn't get treatment at hospitals. He ended up in a hospice run by Catholic nuns, and this is a very roundabout thing, but prior to this. My mom was part of like that evangelical branch of Christianity that believed Catholics were bad. And it was after AIDS that my mom changed her mind because they were the only people that would help. Nobody, it was AIDS. It was weirdly AIDS and lesbians. Well, the only people that would help men, nuns and lesbians, I should say. Yeah, nuns and lesbians.
That's why they have L first in LGBTQ, right? It's because lesbians were there to help.
It was a very weird go because I would go with her to visit this kid, and I didn't know him very well, but just being in it was weird being there because it was nuns and lesbians working together. It was just a very odd thing to see as a like 13-year-old child trying to
it's a lot of cognitive dissonance. You're like, these two things don't usually go together, but that's like, I don't know, maybe this is a reach, but kind of the beautiful thing about crises in some ways is that it does bring unexpected people together to try and do good.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, that's kind of a beautiful story in a way, like parts
in a horribly tragic way.
Man, it's. Dude, we have not yet begun to really unpack how traumatized first responders and stuff are from COVID. Like that.
No. That's the thing. This episode is so interesting so interesting to watch now because there are parts of it that I remember thinking seemed unrealistic that don't seem unrealistic anymore. It's just like the ridiculousness of just refusing treatment and not listening to doctors and blah, like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. You know, at the end of the episode when they were like, we have a cure now and these people will not have died in vain. I was like, God, that sounds nice. Imagine making a cure and then everybody actually takes the cure and it's not that all these people. And then lo and behold, JMS was fuck you. Actually, I'm going to really lean into this. Doesn't matter anyway. They all died.
Yep. And also not only do they all die, but then he also like the last thing he leaves us with is the racist, spacist comment at the bar.
My God.
And I was like, wow. And
he went there.
He did. And when you're saying things that felt like unrealistic or like would have felt unrealistic at the time, we would have been like, nah. And now we're like, huh? Of course, because people were assholes.
That's how people react. Yeah.
But the other thing I thought was interesting, and this felt, and when you talk about, and when we talk about the AIDS epidemic and we talk about people not being able to get treated, Jenny, you're 100% right. At the time, that was the case, especially like specifically around AIDS. It was like, we don't even want to treat you.
Literally turned away from hospitals.
Yes. But in this, in my watching that moment when none of them wanted to go in and Franklin said he'd be the one to go in, I was like, what are you talking about? First responders are heroes and they jump in, because that's my experience with COVID first responders, you know, like that is my experience today. And, you know, and I think that obviously there's, not
because there's a weird, there's a weird different, like, and not both AIDS and COVID became political, but they became political in different ways. Yeah. Whereas like AIDS was, you got it because you were bad. Yeah, because you were sinning, right? Whereas COVID is, if you treat it, you're sinning. Like, it's a completely different. It's weird. Like, what he says here in the notes is like, it wasn't about AIDS. It's about making a disease political. If you make a disease political, people die. Like that's
not relevant at all today. Not at all.
Yep. I mean, the whole conversation, the whole thing about like, you know, about like when he's talking about Drafa and he says, you know, our government didn't want to make it an issue.
Oh my God. I wanted to scream.
I mean, not even Drafa. He was talking about like the new Drafa, like when it came back, our government knew, but they didn't want to tell people because they didn't
talk about it.
I was just like, why? What? Yeah.
I will say the COVID watching, I'm going to upset people, I know, but like watching COVID, I live in South Korea, and Korea was one of the first countries that got hit.
And
it was, my mom was so worried about it when it was here and not in Canada. Like it was, she was sending me N95 masks and hand sanitizer and like making sure if I would talk to her on FaceTime, she'd be like, you're not wearing your mask. I'm like, well, I'm at home. I'm fine. I'm in my house. But the second it hit Canada and it inconvenienced her, it became fake. And it wasn't real anymore. And it was such a weird thing to watch her mind change. Yeah. Just because it was now a thing that she had to do and not something on the other side of the planet.
Yeah. That was something that I watched with members of my own family as well. It's like...
it's
it's wild.
It's almost like viruses don't care about your politics.
No, they do not.
They do not care.
Don't
it's almost like viruses are just gonna do what they're gonna do.
Virus is gonna virus.
What you think?
It's gonna virus, and
I want to read a little, as long as we're still talking about the plague side of it. I mean, that's the whole story, but like, just like, I want to read JMS's thing. I want to read one of JMS's things. He says, like, this is in response to the comment, plague stories are trendy these days. And he says, next time I will try and locate every other producer in town and see what they plan to produce so I can plan accordingly. Like no snark there whatsoever. When I wrote the episode, Outbreak hadn't been promoted yet or known about. Voyager hadn't aired because there's a Voyager episode. ER hadn't told me what they were going to do. If I'd known there would be such a glut, well, I probably would have done so anyway, because this isn't so much about the plague and saying it's dangerous, but about our attitudes when we are confronted by this, which really hasn't been dealt with all that much in sci-fi. And then he says, And then he says, and I'm sorry, but don't even try to bring the Voyager story into this. The ship is threatened by a cheese contamination. I almost fell off my chair.
I forgot about that one.
It's a cheese contamination on Voyager. Yes.
It gets into the biometrics, right? Like the bio. Like,
I think so. Because they're biogel. It's biogel. Nerds.
I watched Voyager a long time.
Shady, and I kind of am here for it.
I kind of get why he would be snarky towards Star Trek, considering the existence of Deep Space Nine.
Yes,
I can't really blame, as much as I love Deep Space Nine, I can't really blame him for that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know, like he might have been saying not every episode is going to be a gem. The fact he watched it, he was watching Voyager, so like, he didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
There is an episode where a virus becomes a giant bee and tries to stab Janeway in the face.
Yes, which is a dumb episode, except Janeway's wearing a tank top and running around with a big gun.
Yeah,
and
she is.
I am a lesbian, so it's perfectly
doing
fine.
The Ellen Ripley thing in that episode.
Yes.
That is the Ellen Ripley episode.
I thought this episode was incredible, personally.
This episode was
I wanted
really
to talk
good.
about this episode. Yeah.
The other thing I feel like that differentiates this episode from like all of the other plague well, not all of them. I haven't seen all of them, but many of the other plague stories he's talking about is they didn't actually fix the problem.
No.
They all died. I mean,
died.
they were never. It was never going to infect humans, probably, and it was never going to infect Minbari, probably, and it was never going to da. But the Pakmara and not the Drazi. I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying Drazi. The Pakmara and the Markab, it was going to infect. I guess they saved the Pakmara, but
yeah.
I mean, that was a gut punch at the end.
Yeah.
You don't always. I was not exactly expecting the denouement of the episode to be, and everyone died. Rocks fell.
Yeah, you kept talking about we got to save the child. Nope, that little child died. And so did all the other ones. Yeah. Except for a few. I sent a message in Full Spoilers channel that you guys can't see, but when you asked if Ali should be here for this one, and I said I would actually like to have Ali here for this one.
I'm glad I was here for
this. And then
this
I said, me too. But I sent a message like, the last time they asked me if Ali could skip. And I said, no, it was Believers. Do I just want Ali around for dead children? Is that what's going on?
This is really the question of the hour.
I promise that's not the thought process.
You just want me to suffer?
This episode almost feels
considering my absolute love of children.
It almost feels like the anti-Believers in a way, because Believers was Dr. Steve does fucked up shit and kids die. Mm-hmm. And this episode was Dr. Steve does the absolute best he can and kids die.
Yeah. He's not wrong. Everybody does a plague episode. Like, you're doing sci-fi, there's going to be a plague episode. Like, you're not going to, I mean, go back to original series. There's always a plague episode, and you have to. And also, he did say something too about, this is interesting. He said something about the CDC. He said we did have a advisor from CDC.
Consultant.
Yeah. And he says, one person I spoke with at the CDC said that hypothetically speaking, the sudden eruption of a disease like this is possible. Like, you think? How likely depends on various circumstances. And, so he's kind of just like, yeah. And then he's talking about, things being highly contagious. He said the only thing that so far has prevented a massive outbreak is the fact that by the time you can generally get out of these remote areas, you're dead. Because he's talking about like things that are in remote areas and like and he also says he asked the CDC guy about like between species. The consultant and and that guy, let's see, we do have a biological advisor whose primary comment on the notion that a virus couldn't pass between one species and another. And he says, we have yet to contract one other alien life form to make an analysis. But I'm like, we know that it crosses species of animals. So I'm
right. But I think the idea is like if it comes from another
completely different evolutionary chain,
different biome. But we don't know.
That is a danger of contacting alien species that I've never even thought of before.
Yeah. Well, that's War of the Worlds.
Well, I mean,
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, he mentions it here, like when the first astronauts they were quarantined when they came back to Earth because it was like, we don't know, are there diseases in space?
Yeah, like is the moon?
We don't know.
Is the moon has to have stuff? Yeah, they were always quarantined. I mean, they actually.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So, do you have thoughts, Ali? We've been talking a lot. I just
thought it was a really interesting move to also like include a child when we're talking about like morality versus immorality and like who deserves to be sick and things like that. Like, there's a really great play called The Yellow Boat about the AIDS crisis, which is about a father and a son. And this is based on a true story. And the son dies during the AIDS crisis and he's a child because he gets a blood transfusion and it's the wrong kind of blood transfusion. It's the wrong from somebody who's sick, and it's just one of those things. And like they talk about that, like how ostracized they were, and like how because people were afraid, and like how like that immorality thing affected them. And I think people like, no, obviously no one deserves to be sick, but like people like have no scope of I think they wanted to like be able to say like, well, other people get sick,
not me,
and they deserve it, and they think that keeps them safe, right? Like it's this perverted idea of like wanting to be safe. So if you can justify why other people get sick and why you don't, and like it's this attempt also, I think, to justify the randomness of life, like how things just happen. And we don't always have, and like it's this uncomfortable thing where we have to face the fact that like life is very uncertain and we don't really like that. So instead, if we can say like, oh, this group of people, like they deserved it, it's a punishment of some kind, like we can kind of like wave it away, or like, oh, well, they had pre-existing conditions. So like, you know, it's somehow they're like people who were like preordained to die anyway. So like, you know, it's like this weird thing where we can like comfort ourselves. Yeah. So the attempt to control, it's callous and it's fucked up, but it is an attempt to control a situation that reminds us that we have very little control. And I think it was very smart to include a child in that discussion, because it's like, well, children got sick with AIDS. People of all different types got sick with AIDS. Like, justify that. Like, you know, I mean, it's fucked up to do regardless, but like,
is that like that line that Delenn said? I want to talk about Delenn in this episode, but that line that Delenn says,
please,
like, compassion, similarity, not being.
I did not know similarity was a requirement for compassion. I wrote it down. So good.
Because that is something I also remember. I didn't have the words to articulate it at the time, but I do remember this from the 90s of the sympathetic faces of AIDS were the children who caught it from
blood transfusions, or
Brian White, I believe, was, I can't remember. There was a boy who was very, very famous, became very famous because of that. Like Michael Jackson wrote a song about him. And not even get into all that, but like, and thinking that was not, I remember as like a middle school kid who knew somebody, thinking that that's not fair, that this boy I know, because I thought of him as a boy, but he was like 19 and he was gay and dying of AIDS. So like, why isn't it sad that he's dying? Right. Why is it only sad when children are dying?
Right.
Like that's not fair.
Yeah.
And I do, putting a child's face always makes things, like World Vision does that, like everybody does that, but it does make it seem we can only care about certain people and not everyone.
I think it was an attempt to counteract this narrative, but like at the same time, it was dehumanizing to other groups of people. Like no one deserves to be ill and die. Like that's not a thing. You know. I also wonder if Delenn is a little bit in this like giving a, well, her whole thing about like, I didn't know that similarity, like I want that like tattooed on my body. But if I were the type that wasn't afraid of needles, like that, it was an incredible line. But there were a couple things that I thought of during that. One was that, like you said, Jenny, the like Catholic nuns, where it's like, you know, theoretically, right, they're people who disagree the most with homosexuality, and that didn't stop them from being compassionate.
Not even a little bit.
At a time where like most people were not. And then also there was a part of me that was like, it felt a little almost also Princess Diana-y too.
I was thinking about Princess Diana.
Hey, I can see that,
Where it's like she did a lot to kind of destigmatize it as well by like, you know, touching the patients and being compassionate and so
that's true.
I don't know. I just there was a thought about that for me, but what I mean, God, her acting this episode was also just,
and every episode.
I mean, insane. Like she's incredible.
Well, not to. I don't want to pivot away from the tragedy of it all too much, because that
I know what you're about to talk about, because that was going to be my next question. Yeah.
But she and Bruce are on a first name basis now. And
there was some face.
There was
hand
placement. You know,
yes.
And listen, there were moments.
listen, I hate being I hate when like we have a man and a woman who are close in something and they can't just be friends. But we have that with like Ivanova.
I was about to say we already Bruce and Susan are friends.
Yeah, they're buddies. There is not. It's not the same vibe with Delenn, and that may be just that she has chemistry with everyone that moves. But
after this, there's one more thing I want to say about compassion, by the way, but not
okay.
But there was, and listen. I think that we as a society should normalize that people could touch each other and it's just like platonic affection, la-di-da-da.
Yeah,
sure,
this wasn't.
Faces.
I was like, aren't you maybe married? Like,
nah, he's out.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to normalize people touching my face. That would be
that's not necessarily the thing. It's like that you can have a relationship.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
You can have a connection. Not go up to random strangers and touch their face.
No.
Like you can have a connection with somebody where faces can be touched without it being necessarily romantic.
Okay.
Yes. People can
pretend
be
you're French, basically.
Yes, people can be physical without it being meaning sex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't know, Ali.
I will agree with that. Yeah.
Well, so I just wanted to preempt that by saying, like, normalize physical affection between men and women, like normalize, like, blah, 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 blah. All that being said, though, the chemistry was insane.
Yeah. And you did say day one, as soon as she popped out of that cocoon, you went, oh, they made her hot so she can fall in love with handsome Bruce Boxleitner.
I think you did actually say that.
You did say that. You did say that.
I did say that, and I stand and look at me. I stand by it. Look at me. I stand by it. Like it's happening. Like she's incredible. But yeah, I mean, regardless, like the respect that he had for her too. Mm-hmm. I'm a sucker for men respecting the shit out of women. Man.
It is,
one of the best through lines of this season.
Such a low bar, but hey,
he
cleared it.
One of my favorite, very subtle through line stories of this season so far has been Sheridan and Delenn's burgeoning mutual respect, friendship. What's the fucking term? Foreign exchange student kind of. You learn about my culture, I learn about yours.
Yeah.
You wear the best fucking dress I've ever seen. We go to dinner.
Yeah.
I eat one noodle an hour for 17 hours straight, kind of thing. Then,
I took a note of this. Sorry, because he was snoring and he was like, "I don't snore." He said that before too to Susan.
To Ivanova, yeah, in the sleepover.
He's really adamant that he doesn't snore.
John Sheridan has sleep apnea, man. That's the subplot.
Get this man a CPAP machine.
Yeah.
I was like, he'll be so much better rested.
But it's just really fun to watch this kind of slowly creep forward because, again, I don't remember which episode it was. There was an episode you asked me, what do you think you'll remember from this? And I said probably the 10 seconds where Bruce and Delenn went to dinner.
Yeah.
I think it was the one with the sleepover scene. The sleepover plot, Workers of the World Unite. Yes. What was the other plot in that episode? See, that's the thing. That was like the B and the C plot of that episode. I don't remember what the A plot was of that episode.
No, because it was the one, where they had to have the sleepover because they couldn't get into their quarters. Yeah, that's right.
And he had one meal with Delenn, and that's right now the only thing I remember from that episode.
He wore that dress.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then the hard eyes. Yeah.
But it is interesting because there is this, first of all, there were several poignant lines written by JMS in this episode that were just and what I just love about his writing. The second thing is that he is always and never moving away from and shying away from the sentiment of I did not know similarity was a requirement for compassion. Yeah. And why don't we learn about other cultures? When we learn about each other's cultures, we respect each other's cultures. We can grow to love one another's cultures. He's just, and also the relationship between, this one felt to me like, okay, aside from Keffer, we'll talk about that in a minute. But aside from Keffer,
we'll get there.
Aside from Keffer, this one was really connected. He even says it's sort of the Passover episode, like they're having sort of their version of Passover dinner. At the same time, we're talking
food for Delenn, or for not Delenn. help me, Valen.
Yeah.
Valence.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Leave the chair out for
exactly.
Elijah.
Elijah. Yeah.
And then on top of that, like then when we're talking about the Markab and we're like, it passed people over, like they literally say, will it pass me over or something, or it passed me over. And then we have this like massive,
it's kind of verbatim, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. The plague,
You know, and also like the Passover plague. Like, so it's really, it's really interesting. I think there's like a lot of connections here, but all of it coming back to, he's like, it's not entirely a political episode. It's just saying that when you politicize a disease, it's not going to go well. The treatment's not going to go well. And I think that, you know, he never loses his focus of, we need to be more compassionate. We need to be willing to learn about others. And this is such a clean episode for that. It's such a good episode.
He's completely right too.
Well, I once again find myself in a position where I have to reference the Malazan Book of the Fallen, because I keep on getting your hair in my elbow. I apologize, because the entire conceit of Malazan Book of the Fallen is, it's basically a 3.3 million word meditation on compassion and the importance of compassion. And there's one particular quotation that happens in an earlier book, which I think is kind of relevant to Delenn's thing and everything else in this, and really kind of the show as a whole, where somebody says, we humans do not understand compassion. In each moment of our lives, we betray it. We know of its worth, yet in knowing, we then attach to it a value. We guard the giving of it, believing it must be earned. Compassion is priceless in the truest sense of the word. It must be given freely in abundance. And I like that quote, and Delenn's thing made me think of that.
That's
so true. It's so true. Like, I get so bothered. Because we're so quick to, obviously boundaries are important.
Right.
Obviously, you know, you must protect yourself from things, but we're very quick to, I think, I saw this interview one time with this guy, and he said, and it stuck with me forever, never assume malice where ignorance can be explained.
Yeah.
And like, that has stuck with me forever. And I think we are always, like, we're all people with like context that other people don't have, walking around doing our best. Like, it's why I'm obsessed with like Jungian stuff and all this stuff lately, because I'm just like, we're all just out here with all these wounds that we're poking in each other all the time without knowing that they're there. And like, we just assume a lot of the time that people are poking those wounds on purpose and not looking at like the humanity behind like why. And I think it prevents us often from actually solving problems. I think it creates problems where there don't need to be any, because we just assume the worst in other people all the time and like refuse to. One of my favorite things to say to my students is, two things can be true. Like when we're talking about history and things like that, I'm like, two things can be true. Like this perspective can be true and this perspective can be true at the same time. Right. And like our tragedy, I feel, is that we like don't see that like two perspectives can simultaneously
dichotomy.
That two things can be true simultaneously at the same time and equally valid. And so it's just like, and I just feel like it causes so many more problems than it needs to. And like, just how incredible it was, like the contrast between like Delenn's compassion and this guy making callous jokes about, you know, people think, which you know they would eventually, because I mean, human beings are making jokes about 9/11 nowadays. Like they make jokes about, I mean, tragedies all the time. I mean, you know, and eventually people, the sting of it fades, and
I mean, I'm just again gonna bring, like, people were doing that during COVID, not necessarily jokes, saying really callous, like anti-Asian jokes because of it.
Oh god,
it's just
there were people attacking Asian people in the street just for existing, just for the crime of being Asian.
Crazy. This is different from that, but it is relevant to people making light of the issue. the week before everything shut down, I was like, I should probably get provisions. And I was walking to the grocery store with a mask on, and a guy was riding by me on a bike. And as he approached me, he saw that I had a mask on. He just leaned over and went, and then he kept riding past. I was like,
what's the point of that?
Who does that benefit? You're just being an asshole.
Yep.
So.
That's because I think people are very wounded. And they just, or they act strangely when they're afraid, or they act strangely when confronted with their own mortality. So they're like, I have to distance myself from it by making it seem laughable, because if I can laugh at it, it's not a threat. Yeah.
But it's also, I'm trying to go ahead, Jenny.
Oh no, because I have something to say that has literally, I don't have an answer to the question.
Okay, and I want to say,
I don't. Yeah. I don't know how COVID got didn't become politicized in Korea. I don't know how it didn't happen. Korea's a very conservative country, just in general, but it just didn't happen here. But also, everybody just wore masks, and people stayed home when they were told to. If I get a COVID diagnosis, I stay. Nobody.
But there was a history of that. There's a history in Asian countries of wearing a mask when you're sick because you're not an asshole. And
I guess,
and there's a history of looking at that in America, and it's not outside America when I say it like that. Right. When you see that, you're like, oh, that's an other thing. That's something Asian people do. Wearing masks is something other people do. I don't want to look like other people. I think that led into it. That was part of it.
Okay.
I talk sometimes. I play a lot of the video. This is relevant, I swear. I play the Yakuza games all the time. And I played a lot of Yakuza 5 recently. And Yakuza 5 was made in 2015, 2014. And there's 30% of the NPCs just randomly walking around the street wearing masks.
Oh yeah, it is true. When you're sick, you wear a mask. That is a thing that people do here. Just the entire time I've lived here.
Yeah, I'm only pointing that out because for me, as an American, as a Westerner, I was like, oh, this makes me think of COVID. It doesn't make me think of it's just what you would do.
Right.
Yeah. You also. I would tell you, it's a completely funny thing. You also, masks are part of winter wear here. Yeah. There's fabric masks that they keep your face warm. Yeah. It's literally not a health thing. It's to keep your face warm, which was a problem when COVID happened, because in the winter, when you are wearing a mask and you talk to somebody, by reflex, you pull your mask down. And with COVID, you're not supposed to do that. But it took people a couple of months to get used to, don't pull your mask down when you're talking to people, because that's just... wearing a mask is just a thing that you do when you're cold. Yeah. And so it was just funny. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, it's absolutely a thing you should do if you're not feeling well. I remember pre-COVID.
We have 50 masks in the house. We just keep them.
I knew people who bragged to me about how they never missed a day of school. They went to school sick. And I was sitting there as someone with a chronic illness going
that's
you're a problem for me. Stay the fuck home. I get sick. Yeah. I'm sick for weeks.
Yeah.
I don't back then, lately my health's been pretty good, but back then, before I started really working on what my body was doing, I would get sick for weeks. And I was like, that is so fucking I was like, don't brag to me about your work ethic. And I was like, no, you're a problem. You're a friggin' patient zero over here. For this office all the time. I don't. America can be very strange too, I think, in that weird go to work even if you're near death's door.
Well, I would say that there is a good side and a bad side to the wearing masks things, because part of the wearing a mask is that you're supposed to go to work. You wear a mask. It's not meant to be you're sick, stay home and take care of yourself. It's you're sick, we have something to help you prevent spreading that as you go to work. So
do we want to talk about, frankly, the A plot of the episode?
Yeah.
Warren Keffer.
I love that they brought him in and we were like, oh my God, he gets a plot, and they immediately yanked it out from under.
I thought it was the Kefisode.
I thought
it was the Kefisode. He got 2 scenes.
And then he was gone, done, nothing relevant. I mean, he did bring in the ship. He did bring in the dead ship.
But he did bring in the
and he was told not to go into, do you realize why he was told not to go in and be hunting for the shadow ship anymore, right?
Well, because he's been taking his Star Fury out on his own time, apparently, and just flying around hyperspace.
Right. But also,
Yeah.
Would have been cool to see any of that.
Yeah, but Ivanova knows because they're trying to keep it, right? They're like, we don't want the shadows to know that we know.
Oh yeah, she know. Yeah.
That's why. Yeah,
right.
So that's why he's been like that. That was why Bruce had that face of like, oh no,
don't do that.
Yeah, we don't want you finding the ship.
Does Bruce know the shadows are in hyperspace?
Well, no, but he knows that like something.
Oh, so when he hears weird bullshit, he goes, "Uh-oh, don't touch it."
Yeah.
Okay,
don't go poking around.
But also, I mean, and maybe I'm just like a little more sensitive to this, but I'm like, how much does it cost to fuel up a Starfire? I was like, you're just taking it out for fucking joyrides, a gazillion $billion ship that isn't your personal ship, that it costs a gazillion $billion to like fill it up with fuel, and you're like, I'm just gonna look around a little bit. I'm like, that is not military behavior right there at all. You don't just take a fucking
not so much.
There is an answer to this somewhere. Oh, he talks somewhere in
the Slurkers
something. I don't know. I can't remember where I read it. But the answer is that it's not like he's fueling up the ship and going out there to hunt in hyperspace.
Okay.
It's you sent me out to do something, and when it's time to come back in, I'm like, okay, I'll just stick out of there for I'll go looking after I'm done the other job. So the majority of fuel would be taken in leaving the ship and then docking. So he's not wasting a huge amount of fuel.
Here it is.
He's wasting time.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Fine.
The fighters aren't inexpensive, but not hideously costly either. Also, the pilots like to spend as much time out on patrol as possible to garner more flight pay. Okay, well, Keffer's squad was already out earlier, as noted by Sheridan. Keffer chose to stay out a little longer, doing a bit of reconnaissance. Most of the hassle is in prepping the ship for launch, maintenance, and so on. Once it's out, it's just a matter of a bit more fuel. If he left strictly for this purpose, they'd nail his butt to the flight deck. But since he was out anyway, it's not as big of an issue. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll accept it.
Maybe they just forgot he was out. Maybe nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed Keffer was gone.
Like, where's the Zeta leader? They're like, who's Zeta leader?
Maybe that's where he's just been this whole time.
Yeah, he's just been doing donuts in hyperspace.
Yeah. Everybody else is like, who's Keffer?
But isn't hyperspace also super dangerous? Like,
only if you don't know how to get out.
Yeah, you have to stay on the beacon. Yeah. You have to stay on the beacon to.
Yeah. But like we've seen that has historically not happened.
Yeah,
it's Warren.
You can lose
I
the
guess
beacon.
they don't care. They're like, it's Warren.
They do
he's
now.
a hot shot, you know.
They do now.
Yeah, that's what we know about him from all of our time with Warren Keffer.
Yes.
Hot shot.
He's
got to
be getting more content soon. He's got to be.
So. What is it, episode 18? We got 4 left.
We got 4 left.
We got 4 left this season.
And he was in the main cast.
He's the main cast.
How is this possible?
I keep thinking about.
How is Kaneki not in the main cast and he's in the main cast? That's crazy.
I get mid-season.
I keep thinking about Tasha Yar. I keep thinking about. Oh my God, what's the actress's name? I can't think of her name. Help me, Gus.
Denise Crosby.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Jenny and Gus. Denise Crosby. I keep thinking about Denise Crosby saying like by mid-season 1 even, like she's like legs behind a console, like you can't even see her. She has like one line maybe. She was still doing a shit ton more.
Than Keffer. Yeah,
way the fuck more.
He's
than
just
Keffer.
like, can I go fucking get a real show that I'm in? Can I like please go like get out of my? I mean, that's like how I keep feeling about him as an actor, just being like. He's kind
of on a hold.
He's a
main
doing
cast.
anything. He can't do anything.
He's main cast, so he can't do anything else. But he gets paid, but he gets paid per episode, like per episode he's in, right? Not per
episode.
I would imagine. Wouldn't he have like a minimum contract?
I don't. I can look it up from the 90s. I can't remember exactly how it was, but you are as a main cast member, as a series regular. Yes, there is a minimum per episode, but you have to be in it to get paid it. So even if you're in the credits at the top,
do they hate this man?
Right?
What is happening? Like,
is what I heard. I don't even know if it was about this show, but like you would get hired for like 13 episodes. Even if you don't get 13 episodes,
you get paid
that's
for
your
13.
contract. You get paid for 13.
This is true. So I'm sure that even though he's main cast, like yes, he probably was guaranteed a certain number of episodes. So even if he's not in them, he's still going to get paid out for those. That's true.
Well, there's 2 main cast who have done fuck all. It's Keffer and Newtoth. And I assume that the reason that Newtoth is doing fucking nothing is because Julie Kate and Caitlin Brown left, and they brought in Mary Kay Adams, who was fine from the 15 seconds I've seen of her. But maybe they were just like, well, we don't really want to proceed with the character in this vein,
right? Without,
I guess.
Yeah.
But Warren, it doesn't make any sense because Warren clearly they created the character for
and are excited about him.
I mean, they created the character. They made a point of hooking him in in episode 1 and 2, and I think he had a little bit in 3, and then
he's in Grow Pose.
And he was in Grow Pose, and now this.
Can I tell you what my theory is about this?
What's your theory?
I feel like his role is going to become more important as the war advances. Like as there's more potential.
Right. He's a fighter pilot, right?
Because he's a fighter pilot. Like right now, like, yes, there's a war, but it hasn't really reached Babylon 5 in a substantial way yet in a while. But there have been some scenes where I'm like, oh, this would be a perfect time for Warren Keffer that he has not been in, which is wild.
Right. Yeah, many.
Like,
quite a few.
Yeah.
Like there have been a few episodes where there's like explodey, stuff.
Yeah.
And
you made a joke, Ellie, in the second episode where you said the studio told him we need a hot shot.
Yeah.
That could also be what happened. And then JMS just like, fine, you can have him. But
here's your hot shot, but I will not be using it. Yeah. Which does feel like the thing he would do. But I was like, I'll take the note, but I'm not going to be.
Are you happy
compliant.
now?
Yeah. But I feel like there's the potential for like as things advance from a war perspective that he might become more important as a character.
Sure.
Just because like right now it feels like
it's still set up.
There's a war, but there's still kind of ramping up to that.
Right, right.
I remembered something else I wanted to say, but it's not about Warren Keffer. So we can come back to it later if you want. Or I can just really quick interject this.
I'm just waiting for the Kefisode. But yes, go.
Is that we've now had episodes focusing on war and focusing on pestilence.
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, yes.
And I just wanted to mention that.
Continue with the activities.
It ended with a bunch of death.
So I'm on the eye. I got my eyes out for famine. Which I guess would be...
That's totally going to happen, because that's what happens in war.
I guess would be Timov was famine, right?
I think so.
Yeah. But anyway, go ahead, Allie.
Anyway.
Ooh. Well said.
Thank you, darling.
Well done.
Thank you.
Very.
You were going to say a thing about something?
I was just saying that I think they're going to use Warren Keffer, as they have before, as like this is like the price of war from a soldier's perspective. For more of a...
I can see that, yeah.
I
can see that.
Person that can kind of go out into be in the shit. Because like they did that with him with his buddies that went and died.
Yeah, the guy.
I feel like it's like, we're going to look at cost of war from like the perspective also, from like the command perspective, but then also the perspective of like people being ordered into doing things.
And stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe he's the like everyman that we can follow.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So that might be where because we've got like, we haven't even talked about Psychor in forever too.
Yeah, that was
and all
the other thing I was going to say.
Shit.
Was like when I'm trying to keep track of, and I know we've kind of diverged away from this particular episode. It ended 3:15 in the morning for Jenny. But
Jenny.
But when I look kind of trying to track all of the threads in my mind at once, there are a couple of threads that keep on kind of going. And then coming back. And one of them is Psychor and everything to do with Talia, because Talia vanishes for weeks at a time and then comes back and has 3 episodes in a row and then poofs away into the ether again. And the other one, I guess, is section 13, which kind of connects into Psychor. I feel like Psychor, section 13, and Trash Jim are all points on a given...
which was Trash Jim.
Right. President,
Clark, Morgan Clark, whatever. Those are all points on the same triangle. But it is funny to me because when I watch the main cast stuff, I'm like, okay, Londo, Jakar, Delenn, Veer, Lanier, Bruce, Garibaldi, and Ivanova, they're very consistent.
Right.
Keffer, Newtoff, no, not at all.
Right.
And then Talia...
Talia blips in and out.
Blips in and out.
She's always really important when she blips in.
She's really important when she blips in. Except she got coffee spilled on her. But then she just kind of vanishes for weeks at a time. And it's odd to me that keeps happening only because I know JMS is such a meticulous planner.
Right.
So it's funny to me, and I'm looking forward to decrypting why that might be happening. Because I really like Talia. She's telekinetic now. We've mentioned that once.
Right.
You know?
There's
like two. There's
Well, I was just gonna say, you're mentioning like Talia not being there, and like Trash Jim and that political side of things, and Morden, Psychor, Talia. Here's what's funny. This was such a good episode. I was like, oh yeah, Londo and Jakar weren't in this episode.
They weren't. Yeah.
No.
Not at all.
I feel like the story stops when we don't have Londo and Jakar in some ways. Like I'm always want Londo and Jakar there because I'm that feels really important, especially this season with the whole the war that's going on. And then I'm like, I didn't even think once about them in this episode. Didn't even think once about missing them in this episode. It's really fascinating. That's a full episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I think it's still a continuation on this theme of like, this is what happens when blank gets politicized. Right. Like, I think we're looking at, and now I'm predicting that there's going to be a famine episode where it's like, this is what happens when famine gets politicized. I'm feeling like that's possible because there's no way it doesn't. Like, resources and things and the allocation of those becomes very important. But I'm feeling like it's partially because it still feels like they're present because we're looking at the themes that they kind of kicked up dust around.
Right.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So does it feel like a bottle episode in that same way? It feels like...
Well, and also, again, because the Markab have been brought up, I'm going to veil the Wheel of Time reference, and this is only relevant because this is something that Ali and I have discussed extensively in the context of sometimes a writer wants to do something where they make a plot point that is meant to be like, oh my fucking God, I never thought that would happen, and now I'm devastated. And the Markab are not people that I have ever thought about, ever. But I recognize the name, particularly because, as I meant like a couple weeks ago, I was like, JMS likes to do these things where he reminds you of something right before it happens. Yeah. Which now makes me wondering about Warren Keffer having shown up all of a sudden talking about shadow ships again. So something's going to happen with that very soon. But the Markab are not people that I had really ever thought about, but they are people that I was consistently aware of because they've been mentioned in a significant way, and we have seen them multiple times, and they have distinct makeup. So when you tell me that their civilization has been annihilated, even though I don't have a deep personal connection to them, they're part of the tapestry that has existed on the show.
They've been present.
They've been present, even if they have not been hyperactively present. So when you take that and tell me, oh yeah, these guys that you just accepted as part of the background, they're gone now. That hurts me a lot.
Yeah, like we're probably never going to see one again.
Not much, or if we do, it's going to be in a shitty refugee
like
situation.
A very special Markab episode.
Much like the
Markab Survivors Guild episode.
Whereas if you were to do this in a different context where it was just like, here are some people you've never heard of and now they're dead, it wouldn't necessarily have the same effect.
Actually, the fact that he specifically had them mention, like, there might be some Markabs that survived on like other like outposts.
A couple
and
million,
stuff.
but the civilization has been functionally
not even a couple million. They said like they said a couple million. No, they said like there might be like some scattered survivors. Like it's like
I misunderstood.
They're down to
they
like
said they're effectively, the civilization is effectively gone. Is what they said. Yeah.
So I feel like that actually might be a setup for a Markab Survivors Guild episode.
Good. And you see if there's any fallout from like, oh, you're the plague people.
Well, also like you're what it is to be like the last of your species.
That's called an endling.
I know, and it's so sad. It's like the saddest thing you could be. So like, I feel like he's now like, I want to play around with that. Yeah. Like that's on the table now.
But I just want to applaud JMS for making me really care about these people who I've only ever kind of seen in the background. Yeah. And admittedly, part of that is also we spent 45 minutes with them this week.
Yes.
You know? And perhaps it would have been different.
And the doctor, our first real, I mean, we'd met Markab before, but like our first real interaction was this beautiful, like respectful relationship between Stephen and Lazarin. And so that also, like, they were cool, they were nice, they were respectful. Like, I just, so I was like, I had someone to hang that on and say, if you're representative of these people, which obviously he's not, because a lot of them think that they're getting the plague because of God. But like, even so, I was just like, I can like these people because I like him.
Yeah. I think that, they picked the two representatives well. It was a learned scholar and a child.
A cute kid.
So it's like a learned scholar who is a friend of someone that we care about. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Who he has mentioned before in previous episodes.
Just last week.
Literally last episode. Yeah.
And we also know that Dr. Steve does not view other species in a negative light. Yeah, we know how much he cares about all species all the time, which is good and admirable and is what he should be doing. But like, the fact that we see this like very caring, even though they have like some conflict, like the fact that they're friends and have mutual respect for each other, and he's like a learned person. They picked the two Markabs very carefully.
Now I'm highly conscious that we've been talking for an hour and it's early as shit for Jenny. So if we can move towards wrapping up and letting you guys, if you want, I just want to be respectful of your time.
No, I get it. I there's only one thing that I specifically wanted to bring up, just because people pointed out that I missed something in a previous episode, and this is a good time to bring it up. Because we saw Dr. Steve injecting himself with stims. And I realized every single doctor, with the exception of the Markab doctor, but every single human doctor we've ever spent time with, including the one with the machine, that's how she lost her medical license. She took stims and no, I mentioned Dr. Ben and the doctor that...
We did. We totally talked about June Lockhart.
No, we didn't, because so many people in the comments were like, you didn't talk about June Lockhart. I think the people in the comments are wrong, because I remember talking about that. I remembered that you brought that up, but I think it was very quick. We brought up the president's doctor also being on
That's
stims,
a good point, though.
Yeah.
Are we going to be dealing with like addiction in the medical profession?
Babble On 5 does the pit next time on Babble On 5.
That's the name of the next episode. Oh my God.
Pit.
Oh my God, the pit. Yes. I just wanted to bring that up because if I brought it up last time, then that's great, but I don't think I did, because the comments were just full of, you forgot about June Lockhart. You forgot about June Lockhart. And I was like, okay.
All right, well,
I forgot about June
mea
Lockhart.
culpa. We should never have forgotten about June Lockhart.
I like June Lockhart. I think she's real. She's so cool.
But yeah, that's going to be an issue.
We got a June Lockhart machine now.
I feel like that could be an issue for Dr. Steve. Little addiction issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like
he needs more
medical
gauzy
burnout,
assistance,
especially in wartime. Jesus.
Yeah.
I also
with the refugees.
I'm hoping because it's important to me that trauma is handled well. Even though I'm like, I don't want Delenn to be having a difficult time, I'm like, I do want this to have ramifications.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I'm like anticipating hopefully callbacks to this in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, I one of my pet peeves is when like a character goes through something in an episode that's like, wow, that would fundamentally shape me as a person, and then they like never talk about it again.
I literally sat in a room while 700 or 900. How many people were in there? How many Markab were in there?
At least 500, I think.
Yeah.
I was going to say at least 12.
I watched 500 people slowly die, including a child that I had become attached to. Like, there's no way that doesn't fundamentally alter
who you
as a person.
As a Minbari.
And waited to see if it would kill me too. Like, there's no way I'm just like, it's not like I want it to be brought up every episode or anything, but it's like, there's a point at which I'm like, well, that has to have an impact in terms of like how they see the world and their behavior after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. But what a star she is.
Good episode.
God, man. What a star.
Can't wait to have to previously on this one.
Oh yeah, people talked about that. They're like, "No,
funny,
make
Gus."
that funny." And everybody was all about how Gus has to make it funny. I have to animate it funny. Think about me too. Compassion for me.
That's right. Compassion for Johnny.
I'm gonna make you animate some fucked up shit. And then the child keels over. Good.
God.
It's just gonna be you trolling Jenny the whole time.
That's what I try to do in the previously on. Sometimes I just go like, you know what? I'm gonna make Jenny do some terrible. I'm gonna give her a horrible day. I'm just gonna ruin my co-host's day. I'm gonna make my friend miserable. What the fuck?
And that's real friendship.
Yay!
Why do you put up with
love
me?
You too.
Oh.
Oh, I can't do that because I can't make my hands touch because then they go
Oh,
through each
no.
other.
Yeah.
Is this Bermuda? This
Yeah,
was Bermuda?
that's Bermuda. That's
Okay.
Bermuda. Yeah. Okay. Let's all talk about
Not this.
No, no, no.
This.
That's different.
No,
Yep.
That's
it was,
different.
yeah.
That's different.
That's right. That's right.
Flashing vagina at everybody. Okay.
All right. Good shit, everybody.
All right. Well,
All right.
I don't think I have anything more to bring up with you guys. So
All right. Thank you
No,
so
well-
much for the depression today, you guys. That was
You're
really
welcome.
solid.
you're
Welcome.
so welcome. I'm so glad I had you here for another dead child.
Yeah, a lot of that going around.
You're like, I insist Ali be here for every dead child on the show. And
Every single one. Yeah.
you're like, let me make Ali talk about like some deeply upsetting topics. And
That's my plan. Yeah, that's my plan. All
Well,
the time.
I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
this show isn't political.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Ah, my friends! You have reached the most dangerous part of our journey, the Grey Council. Here we speak of things that must not be spoken. Secrets, betrayals, spoilers. If you are not ready, turn back now. But if you dare to proceed, I promise you it will be magnificent. Oh, Mr. Garibaldi!
I don't know that there's a lot spoilers to talk about this one. Except it like that's it. The Markab, we never see them again. They
Right.
are
Right.
gone. Oh, I meant to bring that up while they were here. Sorry, my notes get all hidden on the screen over there. But I'll just bring this up now. Did you see the bottom?
Yes,
of the,
I did.
The
Yes, I
speech
did. I
about
almost
the
brought it up.
Scientology?
Yes, I did. And I
Yes.
almost brought it up too. And then I was like, because, actually, if we brought it up to that, they probably would have gone off for quite a while. But yes, okay. We'll share it with the audience now, and maybe we can share it with them later.
Yeah.
The use of Markabs was definitely not a reference to Scientology in any way, manner, shape, or form. This is what JMS says. And then he says there's absolutely, and then he says it again. There is absolutely positively no Scientology link or reference in the name Markabs. I find the organization generally abhorrent. Go JMS. And then the third one, I had no idea that Scientologists used an alien group called Markab, and frankly would have changed it if I had known.
Yeah. So I just think that's really funny.
Yes.
Obviously, several people brought it up, and he was very vehement. And
Yes.
I feel bad. You come up with a name. He made up a name,
Yep.
and it just happened to be a name that LRH also
Also
came
made
up
up.
with. And
Also made up.
No. I don't understand. I don't know enough about Scientology. He got the information from the universe. I don't know what they believe about how he knows all about his.
He took a bet. He took a bet from Robert Heinlein and said, I bet you can't make a religion. And he said, yes, I can. Okay.
I used to know about some of their mythology, but I can't remember all of it. Anyway,
You have to be really careful about researching it here, because as soon as you start researching it here in
I
LA,
know.
the flyers start showing up on your doors and whatever. I mean, I can anyway, I'm not gonna say where I am, but they're everywhere, all over town. If I say I can see Scientology pretty close from my house, it doesn't matter. I just live in LA, but anyway, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to bring that up. I thought that was funny, but yeah, they might still be talking. If
I
we
know.
brought that up.
But I wanted to bring that up too. So their theory about Keffer,
Dead on.
I know.
Hot shot.
I know. They're like, well, the hot shot, but also just like we got this little like glimpse of Keffer right now because we're going to be. There must be something.
Yeah, because
like they just.
and he's going to find it.
They just killed off. Well, except what they didn't say was we saw the Markabs and then they killed off all the Markabs. I wanted to say like we saw Keffer and then they're going to kill off Keffer.
Yeah, kill Keffer.
They have not figured that part out yet. Yeah.
No, they have not. They have high hopes for Keffer in the future. It's like, he gonna die.
I feel
he gonna die.
sad. He's not gonna get his. But they were right on about JMS getting forced into it.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yep.
They've got that. They've figured that out. But I'm still not going to confirm it until he blowed up.
We do have something very exciting coming up next week, though. Gus is going to lose his fucking shit next week.
For divided loyalties?
Because who comes back?
Oh, Talia.
Isn't Lita?
Oh, Lita.
Lita's
Yeah,
in the next
Lita.
line. I know.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I just realized that because I was thinking of the girl kissing. But yes, of course, Lita shows up. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Or the lack of girl kissing. It's not good. There's not going to be actual
non-fake,
yes.
the fake non-actual girl kissing, but yeah. So
yes, the implied girl kissing.
But yes, and then Lita is back,
and Lita will show up. I don't know. Oh, yeah, we should talk about this probably. But I don't want to tell them that Talia doesn't return after that because it is going to be like leaving it open.
Yeah.
We can confirm it after Bester talks about dissecting her.
Yes.
In a future episode, but yeah. And I don't know if it's going to be, I can't remember. I'll have to read a synopsis. If it's going to be clear that Lita returns until later. Because like she's in the episode next week.
Oh no, but they're not going to know. No, I don't want to make it sound like she's actually back. I think next week, just the fact that she shows up, Gus is going to lose his shit. He's not going to know what to do. His shit. Yeah. No. But I definitely don't want to imply that she will continue.
Yeah, now she becomes main cast.
I know. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm kind of relieved that they finally have twigged on to Bruce and Delenn because that's been driving me crazy. Like, how you ship everyone, Ali? How have you not? It took her stroking his face. I know. For her to go.
Yeah, but even stroking her face, she was like, "Let's just normalize face stroking."
Yes, like, no, they're on their way to Smooch Town. It's just slow and gentle. It's I know, like it's not like hot and heavy. It's one of my favorite romances ever, and it's just this slow build of people who meet and they like each other, and then they like each other, and they like each other, and then they kiss. I'm like, it's not an epic story, but I love it so much.
It's wonderful. And it's also like, I mean, I think what does it justice or what does that choice justice for me is that, you know, it's a I'll say it. It's a political show first. It's a war and sci-fi show second.
Yes, for sure.
And it is a soap opera third. Like it's really not, you know, and that, so he's just like, well, these are in the relationships are super important, but not in a typical soap opera kind of way. And so, you know, and like from the beginning, he's like, this is all about character and relationships, character first. And so, and that's true. So I feel like him not making it this like epic love story kind of thing is really just both does it justice and is also just realistic.
It feels realistic and it feels I don't know, it feels more precious to me because it takes a long time to get there and it never gets. I mean, they have that moment at the end of season 3 where when Anna comes back where they they have that disagreement, but there's never a like, oh, we've been broken apart for like, it's just, no, they just, their friendship gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then they're in love and they respect and like each other. And I love it. We decided in one of my servers a while back that Sheridan is very lesbian coded. Like, yes, he worships his wife and he's friends with his ex. He's totally lesbian coded.
Yes, that's hilarious. Right. Oh my god.
So anyway,
I love that.
Other spoiler things. The stims, obviously, that is definitely going to come up. And yeah, so they're called. I might have highlighted it too much, but really, there were like 30 comments about how I didn't bring up Dr. Rosalind. So, not Rosalind? Was it Rosalind? Am I saying Rosalind?
No,
I don't know. I don't think it was Rosalind because I'm Battlestar Galactica is on my brain right now.
Yeah. No, it's not Rosalind. Laura Rosalind. Laura Rosalind is Babble On, is BSG, but let's see, Quality Mercy, Dr. Laura Rosen, R-O-S-E-N.
So close.
Laura Rosalind, Laura Rosen.
It's so close. Do you think? Do you think?
Well, because Laura Rosalind is not from the original BSG. She was a character created by. Yeah. She's not in. I don't think that the name was.
I never watched the original.
Yeah, so. I don't think the name was ever pulled from anybody in the original. I'm pretty sure she was created by Ron Moore. And I'm sure Ron Moore didn't intend it to be like stealing Laura Rosen, but I'm like,
why not?
Well, I mean, we know Ron Moore was writing BSG right now because, I mean, not BSG, writing.
It's Trek.
Yes, but specifically, specifically Deep Space Nine. Yes.
Yeah,
He was
DS9,
writing
yeah.
DS9, and he was, he was the creator of the Dominion War. So
Yes. Sorry to see you moving around your Yoda doll as we're talking.
as I'm like, Grogu, help me find the name. It's like, I am so bad about being on camera because I just like speak in my real world. Anyway, yes. So I think knowing that obviously Ron Moore was watching this at the time because he was being tasked with crafting the long-term story, the overarching story arc in Deep Space Nine, and then BSG DS9. It's really fucking hard to use all of the anagrams.
Yeah. BSG DS9 B5. It's just TNG.
Too much.
What's going on?
Too much.
Yeah,
I'm glad Voyager isn't just B. But
I know exactly.
Right. But in any case, I do think that Ron Moore must have been watching this at the time. And then also because there are some elements too. There are things in this that show up in his version of Battlestar. There are things we see. I mean, and I will take it to the grave that was one of the best series ever made in the history of the world. I love that show so much.
Oh, BSG is
amazing.
It's wonderful.
Yep.
Although I started doing reactions. I don't know if I'm going to continue them, but on my channel, I have not revisited that show since I watched it the first time at all.
Yeah.
Because it's so perfect in my brain that I've been a little bit nervous to touch it. Because what if I don't like it?
It's holding up, right?
I don't know.
Is it holding up for you?
So far, I mean, I've only watched the miniseries again and one other episode, but it's so far holding up. And I immediately felt my crush on Starbuck return. I was like, oh gosh, Jenny, right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yes. I mean, we showed it to our eldest a couple years ago, and he's desperate to get back into it. He's just like, when are we going to watch the rest of it? Because we haven't finished the series with him, but he loved it and it held up for him. And it was, made long before he was born. And he was like, this is great. Not only are the effects great, but the storytelling's incredible. And the storytelling is amazing and the characters are great. Okay. Back to B5.
Yes, sorry. Back to B5. The other thing they kept pointing out, if you are watching this without having watched the episode, this is the first we see of that alien, I believe, that has the weird, what do you call the nose of like a mosquito? A proboscis. Thank you. And there's a creature in behind, there's a mask and a proboscis, and they pointed him out each time. In the Lurker's Guide, they keep saying the alien with the breathing apparatus isn't a Sandman reference, and he kept saying no, it totally is, because later on we're going to find out that character is named the Game, which it's Neil Gaiman, which is not a pleasant thing to know. Now
it's Neil Gaiman in the costume. No, he's just using it. It is a Gaiman.
He's using the name. The name of that species is the Game,
right?
So it's obviously a Sandman reference, and the fact is, and again, it's just a sad thing because I'm assuming he didn't know what a monster he was. Neil Gaiman writes the foreword to JMS's autobiography. I know. And the only other, from here on out until the end of the series, JMS writes every single episode except for one. The one episode he doesn't write is written by Neil Gaiman.
I know. Yeah. I know. And he obviously didn't know, but
this is years before. So anyway, it is a Sandman. Like, so he denies things sometimes. I'm like, why? Just admit it.
I know.
It's fine.
And also because people knew that they were friends at this time. They were both writing comics at the same time. Like it wasn't like,
But like he denied the Lord of the Rings quote, and I'm like, that's what? Why would you deny that? Yes. It's so clearly a Lord of the Rings quote.
Yes.
I there's not much spoiler to talk about this because it's not a bottle episode, in that I think the way Ali worded it is right. Like the themes continue.
Yeah.
But from here on out, this episode doesn't really the Markab will come up in conversation again. Like I think in a future episode, they're going to destroy the jump gate near the Markab planet for a reason that I can't remember. But they're going to Sheridan's going to choose that one to destroy because people keep using it to go to Markab and steal stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, I hate grave robbers, so let's just destroy that jump gate so that, basically to preserve the planet.
Yeah.
I think that's it for conversation.
I think so too.
For this one.
I think so too.
Yeah, next week will be a big one for conversation too, because as you said, Lita and not quite, but very heavily implied girl kissing.
Right.
And then tragic dead lesbian trope, blah, blah, blah. Sad. That's going to happen. Right? But it was the 90s.
Yes, it was. Cover it all up. Pretend it isn't real.
Yeah. So I think that's it, though, for today. Thank you so much for joining us for this upbeat, happy, peppy, light episode. If you like this discussion, you might like to see our reaction, which is up on YouTube. You can join our Patreon, get the full unedited version of it. You can get early access, ad-free versions of the audio version of this podcast. You can join Discord and join our super secret channel. It's top secret. Shh. Don't tell anybody. And then you can help out and get the previously early and get a bunch of extra stuff. And like and subscribe and hype us up and do all that stuff. And we'll see you next time. Bye.